Sharron Prior's case remained one of Canada's most shocking and mysterious unsolved crimes for nearly 50 years. Despite the passage of time and the loss of hope by many, her parents never stopped fighting for justice. Thanks to advancements in forensic science and modern technology, this vexing case was finally cracked, bringing closure to a long-standing mystery. Sharron was born in the winter of 1959 in Montreal, a city known for its picturesque landscapes. Her mother had immigrated to Canada from Great Britain at a young age, and it was here that she met Sharron's father, George, who was serving in the Canadian Army. Their love story was one of destiny, with the young couple marrying and welcoming Sharron as their firstborn child. Shortly before Sharron's second birthday, her mother gave birth to twins, Doreen and Maureen. The family was soon transferred to Manitoba due to George's military service, settling in a peaceful, older neighborhood. As the years went by, tensions arose within the family, leading to George and his wife divorcing in 1965. George continued his military service, often away from home, while his ex-wife moved with the children to Langley, where they were provided an apartment through a special assistance program for military families. It was a quiet and cozy place, seemingly perfect for raising children. Sharron, from a young age, was known for her kindness and compassion. She had a soft spot for stray animals, often bringing home injured or abandoned cats and dogs, nursing them back to health and finding them new homes. Sharron dreamed of becoming a veterinarian, combining her love for animals with her nurturing spirit. She was also passionate about sports and creativity, attending a hockey club, art classes, and even learning needlework. Her mother was proud of her daughter, who was growing up to be independent and responsible beyond her years. Sharron avoided bad company and trouble, but tragically, even her cautious nature could not save her from a fatal encounter with true evil. In 1975, Sharron was 16, facing the typical challenges of adolescence. She loved trendy music, stylish clothes, and had started dating a boy named John, who had admired her since the 4th grade. They spent a lot of time together, often hanging out with friends, and seemed like the perfect match. Her parents supported the relationship, pleased to see their daughter happy. On March 29, 1975, Sharron's day began like any other. She helped her mother with Easter preparations, painting eggs and getting ready for the holiday. Later, she asked her mother for permission to go to the Marina Pizzeria, a popular spot for teenagers. It was a place she had been allowed to visit many times before, so her mother agreed without hesitation. Sharron got dressed, borrowing her mother's sweater and putting on her favorite suede jacket. Around 6:30 in the evening, she left the house, intending to meet up with friends at the pizzeria. However, she never arrived. When Sharron didn't return home that night, her mother grew increasingly worried. She tried to convince herself that Sharron had simply lost track of time with friends or her boyfriend. But as the hours passed, fear set in. By dawn, she began calling Sharron's friends, hoping someone had seen her. No one knew where she was, and her mother's worst fears were confirmed when she learned Sharron never made it to the pizzeria. One of Sharron's friends mentioned that a woman had been attacked near the pizzeria that night, and the attacker had fled in the direction Sharron was supposed to come from. Panic gripped her mother as she rushed to the police. The detectives launched a large-scale search operation, with hundreds of concerned citizens joining in to find Sharron. Despite extensive efforts, there were no leads. Days turned into weeks, and the hope of finding Sharron alive began to fade. Then, on the morning of April 13th, a search party made a horrifying discovery. Sharron's lifeless body was found deep in the woods, covered with snow. The discovery devastated her family and the entire community. The investigation was initially promising, with detectives gathering extensive evidence from the crime scene. They were confident the case would be solved quickly. But as time passed, it became clear that this case was far more challenging than anticipated. 13 months went by and the investigators still hadn't found a prime suspect. They questioned dozens of people, including those who had crossed paths with Sharron that evening, but no one was charged. Sharron's mother never gave up hope. While the investigation reached a dead end, she continued searching for any detail that might shed light on her daughter's death. She believed that Sharron was abducted shortly after parting ways with her friend that night, but no witnesses had seen anything. It seemed like the perfect crime. Years passed, and the case grew cold. In 1981, another tragedy struck when 12-year-old Tammy Leakey disappeared and was later found murdered under similar circumstances. The police feared they were dealing with a serial killer. However, without modern forensic tools, their progress was slow, and the killer remained at large. In 2000, Sharron's mother urged the police to re-examine the case using advances in DNA analysis. Unfortunately, most of the physical evidence had mysteriously disappeared over the years. Only Sharron's clothing and a suspect's shirt remained. A DNA sample was isolated from the shirt, but it didn't match anything in the database. Despite renewed efforts in the following years, the case remained unsolved. It wasn't until June 2022 that the breakthrough finally came. Advances in genetic genealogy linked the DNA sample from the crime scene to Franklin Romine, a man who had died in 1982. His remains were exhumed and the DNA matched. Romine's appearance and criminal history fit the profile perfectly, and his car matched the tire tracks found near Sharron's body. Though justice couldn't be served in court, the case was officially closed, providing Sharron's family with the closure they had sought for nearly 50 years.